correctly. Let's go back. And let's go here. All right, folks, happy Saturday. Out here with a live cam off the phone. Modeling verticalis. There we go. Let's go ahead and do this stuff that I would need to do anyways. Go ahead and add this on the right playlist. And there. And we're going to go done. And we're going to hit save. And then we're going to go here. And I get to watch a commercial that I did not choose. All right. I have pretty good luck with this in the garage. We're going to try it here. I hate that the video is reversed. It drives me bananas. But there's no way around it with my limited abilities. Let's skip that. Come on. You can do it. Okay. All right, so we've got this Barbie, what is it? Dream Catcher? Barbie Dream Camper. Barbie Dream Camper that we're building for Gaslands. It's going to be the Bimbo bomber. And it's going to be equipped with upgraded armor, a mine dropper, and a turreted mortar that's going to fit back here in the back. Turreted mortar on there. So we added the additional parts that this vehicle is going to have, and they're primed black. And that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to paint these things up, color match the pink as close as I can. It just needs to be close to look the part. I mean, it's, you know, this came from the factory in whatever color, and they added extra parts on here to kind of make it look like it's part of the build. But if it's not exactly the same color, it's not too dramatic. Now, some of these pieces are like armor plate and, you know, sheet metal looking. So what I like to do with those pieces is actually paint them like they're iron first, and then work my way up from that. So what I'm going to do, the very first thing is we're going to get those pieces that are that way, and we're going to add tin bits. Here I go, tin bits. Rough iron is what it's called, and from War Painter. And yes, the video is backwards, against my wishes. And you know what? Let me try something. Nah, let me not try that. Let me reverse the phone, but I can't. I have no way of finding out whether the phone is in the picture's in register, because all I would be looking at is like this lens. All right, so we're gonna have some of these rough iron color, and let's get a brush that we don't care about a whole lot. That one's also very, very soft. Yeah, this will work. And we're just going to kind of dry brush these areas that are supposed to be iron plate in this color. We're going to paint over this, but I want this underlayer of rust or something like that. Now, I don't know what car this is. I must be getting close to like 40. I've gotten a lot of vehicles done in the last 3 weeks. I've just completely lost count. And I can't read the comments. I'm sorry. I'm visually impaired. Still visually impaired. Good Lord. What's up, folks? We're working on the the Bimbo bomber, which is based on the Hot Wheels uh, Dream Camper. And this is for Gaslands. It's a car combat game. So, I don't know that all blind women aren't bimbos. I said, I agree, but this one is. She might not even be around. Who cares? She's going to be bombing people. Now, one of my favorite things to do on these repaints, I started off just like, okay, well, let's prime the whole vehicle and paint it however you want. And then I realized, some of these vehicles have some really good graphics. Maybe this isn't the best example of that, but there's some of them that have really good striping and stuff like that. It's just a shame to cover over all of that and not be able to see it. And I'll show you guys what we've got here when I'm done. I got one more plate to do. And this is kind of dry, so we should be able to keep rolling from one thing to the other. We shouldn't have to wait for anything to dry before we can paint anymore. Yeah, I figured we'd go live on the phone, maybe get some more impact. It's really, I do this filming to keep myself on track, and it's kind of frustrating to do like a 4-hour show with only 3 people come by. I'm like, 3 people comment, lots of people come by, but they just stay quiet. Okay. Yeah, so here's the iron parts. It just has kind of an underlayer of rusty type, almost copper-like. I didn't paint this part down here because this isn't iron. This is going to be like part of the body. So I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if I'm going to be happy with the results immediately. Let's put it that way. But all right, now let's color match some pink. That's what we're here for. First thing we're going to need is we're going to need some black. Let's see if we can open this up and not get it all over us. All right, got a little bit of that. We're going to use craft paint I use craft paint for black and white. I go through a lot of it. And let's grab this one too. All right, so we got colors we don't use very often, obviously, because they're very, very loud. Now, this sunset red is probably going to be the color that I'm going to need. These two aren't going to be useful just by looking at it. So I'm going to put them back. I'm going to take one other pink-ish color that I have. Let me take a look at these two. This is going to dull it too much. As crazy as it sounds, that's German orange, which I may or may not use that. It's definitely mostly sunset red. Now, this color also has a brown wash on it, so you have to keep that in mind. This might actually be a disaster when I try to get this paint out. Not a disaster, but have difficulty, just because it's a color I may have used one time in 20 years. Okay, it's a very watery one. Okay. Let's put this tin bits back. The Games Workshop color is called Tin Bits. I still have that stuck on my tongue. Collected a few Hot Wheels, but there are so many, it's an expensive hobby. Well, I personally don't understand the point of collecting things, especially collecting things and not taking things out of the package. That just doesn't make any sense to me. If people want to collect them and then put them in some kind of display, okay. But I've got hundreds, right? Hundreds is more than 100. I've got hundreds of them unbuilt yet. And I don't care if they're collectors. I want to spend about $1 a piece on them. That's the important thing to me. I don't want to just buy any of them. I want to buy ones that are cool. But it's a super cheap hobby. Even if every time you go to a grocery store or Walmart or something like that, you come home with like 2 or 3 of them, it's still super cheap as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to mix this color to get it right, and then we'll figure it out. So I think I'm going to start with this, and we're going to add a little bit of this German orange. That's pretty close. And let's get our friend Mr. White. This folk art paint isn't bad. My biggest problem with this with this kind of paint is really the opening. It's hard. You know, you end up getting stuff like this on your finger. I don't know. I got fat fingers. Not that fat, but you know, they get in the way. All right, so we'll get just a wee tad of white. Might have gone too far. I'm going to test it here on the top. Look at that. You can't even tell. Can't even tell. It's damn near the same color. All right, so with that said, so it's mostly this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of white. Okay. So what we're going to do is, they built these plates. Oh, got another comment here. How goes it? What am I working on today? The Hoffman. We're working on the Bimbo bomber. So this is going to be a truck that has additional armor on it, a mine dropper, and a turreted mortar. So before I go any further, I'm going to add a little bit of let me add a little bit of black because I like to tint things darker and then work my way up. Need more substance to it than that. And we're going to paint the edge of this that will be body colored. I just can't imagine stripping a car again. I mean, okay, you can get some better detail on it, right? Because some of these Hot Wheels actually have pretty good detail on them. Hot Wheels slash Maisto slash Matchbox. I use them all. And if I have a preference, it's probably Hot Wheels. They have exaggerated details, which I think work well for this. So this is all going to be that. And we're going to paint this plate too. We need some water. Why don't we have water here? Okay, I don't care that it's a little watery. Well, let's see how watery it is. Nah, we need thicker than that. Using this color that I may have used it on like my Indian army. One of my like Indian nobility guys is running around wearing sunset red or whatever the hell they call this thing. And then same thing here. Now, I'm not gonna cover it completely. I'm gonna leave it like there's some of this like iron stuff showing. Very little, but some. It did not come from the factory this way. Okay, and even though this part, let's get to the other side. Let's paint everything equivalently. Hoffman, I'll ask you because you watch my normal feed. How annoying is it that my video is backwards? Off the phone. I can't believe there isn't an option to turn it around. I mean, I can edit it later and turn it around, but I'm just talking on a live feed. And most people aren't going to go back and watch a live feed when it's not live. Okay, so we still have this kind of this underlayer of that iron, a little bit. And then these parts here that are just ones I added, almost looks like an extra, looks like a vent for the air conditioning. I'm not really sure what it is. Doggy door. I was watching a video a couple weeks ago where a guy was showing new cars for 2026. And that's the one thing about Hot Wheels that I don't know anything about, is that, they release different cases throughout the year. I'm going to say 20 of them each year, and they all have cars that are in them. And of course, there's an assortment, and some are more rare than others, etc. But if you go to a store that has normal turnaround in product, like a Target or a Walmart or something like that, you're not going to be able to find a car from 2024 in there. So you got to go to like a secondhand place to find it, regardless of whether or not the car is valuable or not. Just to find other models and paint schemes, you're not gonna find them left on the shelf. You can hardly tell, except you're like, man, what's this left-handed guy? Sure paints really well. I am not left-handed. Not that there's anything wrong with left-handed people, but when I was growing up, like, nobody was left-handed. And actually know several people at work that are left-handed. There's nothing wrong with it. It just didn't happen in the 80s. You'd have that classroom that, there's 30 of us in a classroom or 20 something of us in a classroom, and then you have those chairs that had the desk built into it, and if you had that left-handed one, they had 2 or 3 of those in the classroom, and that was it. And nobody ever wanted one. I don't remember there being like, oh, there's a left-handed kid over there. It was just rare. That and people allergic to nuts. Nobody was allergic to nuts when I was in grade school. I'm one of those people who leave them in the package because I feel it diminishes the value. Well, here's the thing about collectors thing, okay? And I don't mean to knock people that leave them in the package, but it's people that like collect baseball cards, right? If you collect baseball cards and you like baseball, it makes sense. If you collect like, it wouldn't make any sense for me to collect baseball cards. Like, I don't give a flaming crap about baseball, right? The problem with collecting things to value is maybe there's some place in Hot Wheels where it will tell you, hey, this car is worth $20. Then you go somewhere to sell it, they want to give you $3 for it. I'm like, it's like, that you'll hear these things, and well, back when I used to listen to the radio, I don't listen to the radio anymore. Gold, buy gold, buy gold, it's whatever an ounce. Well, when you go and sell it, they want to give you 10% of it. So it's just like a racket. So collect things that you want to collect because you like them. I just don't see anybody making any money on it, because nobody wants to pay. Nobody wants to pay because so. Yeah, I don't keep them in a package. I really should buy, well, talk about an addiction, buy 2 of each and then turn one of them into a wreck, but I don't have to. As fast as I'm painting these things, I don't want to have time for that. The wrecks aren't on the battlefield very long anyways. In this game, a wreck is only, once you hit a wreck, once somebody else touches a wreck, it gets eliminated. I guess it just like really explodes. My brother is left-handed and my lifelong friend is allergic to peanuts. Wow. Well, there you go. You must have gotten all the people in Texas. We shipped them all to Texas. Well, I'm not saying, there wasn't anybody. We just didn't hear about it. You just didn't hear about it. Well, I don't know what's going on with the whole peanut thing, because I remember there was a while there, maybe 20 years ago, where it's like, can't have any peanuts on a plane. And all of a sudden there's peanuts on a plane. So I'm like, I don't know what happened. I mean, if you're going to have a problem with peanuts, having someone else eating them on an aircraft with you is probably not a really good environment to to get away from them. Out in the open is probably a hell of a lot safer than that. So the most I've ever paid for any of these cars has been like close to $5, and that's because I wanted a a Porsche 911, and they didn't have any. And all they had was what do they call them? The neons or whatever. The neons are like 474, 494 or something like that. So I picked one of them up, and that's Schadenfreude. And I think that's the only one I have. I have another BMW 2002. It's the model of BMW. It's the classic 1970s BMW. That is a neon that's in a god-awful lime color that I haven't opened yet. But I ended up finding that one as a regular paint job. So I really don't want to pay more than, a buck for them. I will, but, I'd rather not. It helps decide which ones to get. Some Dollar Generals are poorly staffed, and if there's one near you, they might have some older Hot Wheels. Well, that one store they have 30 miles away from me has like freaking everything. Now, one thing that's particularly hard to find is police vehicles. Now, as a kid of Hot Wheels buying age, I would have wanted police vehicles first. But, when I grew up, I think the cops were better respected than they are now. I don't know. So, but cop cars are popular as kids. Fire department never was really into fire engines, I never had any fireman poster calendars or whatever growing up, so I don't gravitate towards that. Oh man, I think I'm just a little shy on this one. Give this one the same treatment, to keep all the pieces kind of moving together in the same color, but this is really quick. It doesn't have to be perfect. The fact that we're going to do some weathering, some black lining, the black lining makes a huge difference. And I can't do that yet until we've got all this up. All right, next stage up. We're going to need more of this sunset red or whatever this thing's called. Did I just get that on my face? You bastardo. I did. All right. Under pressure. All right, let's bring this all the way up to here. We're not until we get to the very top, we're going to start adding this color. I think we can get away with this. Yeah. After this one, we need to start doing the true color. I don't think I knew anybody left-handed growing up. My boss is left-handed. My first boss was left-handed. My second boss is left-handed. I've worked with several people that are colorblind at work. I am definitely not colorblind. I'd say one of my favorite things to do now is like, how do I get the color match close to that? And it doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to look like, like these clowns and I use clowns loosely because there are going to be some clowns, crazy clowns. You know, they wanted to match this so it looks like it's part of the vehicle. Now, I got one vehicle coming up that it's going to have parts on it that aren't going to match the body style, but that's done on purpose. That's because it's like a, you know, a junkyard dog looking thing. I think for cop cars, you will have to go for a lesser known brand. It doesn't seem like Hot Wheels make many of them. If they do, they're really weird styles. You're colorblind. Reds and greens and blues and purples. How do you paint, my friend? Oh, man. Not all of us are good at everything. I'm a terrible multitasker, but I admit that I'm a terrible multitasker, so it's not so bad. And then people give me shit about it. I'm like, well, here's the reality. Yes, I can multitask, but if you make frequent errors, that means you can't multitask. Okay, you need to have success in being able to do things. You know, it's like saying, oh, I know how to swim, but if you tread water more than a minute, you drown. You're not a good swimmer. Okay, that's me multitasking. Yes, I can multitask a few things, but it's really frustrating to do shit wrong. I'd rather not do it if I'm going to do it wrong. I don't have time to correct things, so I'd rather just take one thing at a time. Now, I'm really good at critical path, which most people are terrible at. I'm really good at critical path because I don't like my time being wasted. And most people are not good at critical path. Or how about I say this? Many people I have encountered are not good at critical path. They'll start working on what they want to do. It's like, you can't work on that. It's you know, if you do that first, then something else is going to cause you to have to redo everything. So, okay, I think we're now ready to make the base color. And now that we know that this thing is got the runs, there we go. All right, we're gonna, oh, as always, forgot this little guy here. We had a guy at work that had a job where he was in charge of different of coloring of different things, and he was colorblind. Find out. I'm like, wow. No, not me. I'm more blind than blind. The paint bottles didn't have the name on the color. I might be tempted to have the colors match behind. Oh boy, I can't read. Might be screwed if I have to color match. I bother your brother to help you. Well, but you like to write, so you'll still make it in the world. All right, let's add a little bit of this. And let's not take this too far. The only thing that really kind of caught me with my pants down with colors, it happened a while ago, but it was something I didn't know. I didn't know about this. I hadn't considered this. You know, if you go to some place like Home Depot, whatever, where they have the little color swatches, right? Like you're going to paint a room, and they're usually, at least with their paint, Behr paint. I don't know, is Behr? I don't know if Bear is Home Depot paint, but that's the paint that they carry. And at the time, we had a Home Depot near our house. We got a Lowe's. It's closer now. But anyways, they give you these little color swatches. So you take them to your room and you're gonna paint this room this color. This looks good. Well, you have to put the color on the wall and visualize what the whole wall is gonna look like. But you need to put it on the wall because it's important what the color is gonna look like in the lighting that the room is gonna have. For instance, my bedroom at the condo, I wanted to paint green. Okay. Say, I'm going to say this, it's not exactly this color, but it was lighter than this, but something like that. And I wanted two walls to be different. So and so on the swatch, there's like three colors, and I wanted like one to be the lighter color and one the middle one. So I'm like, all right, I want this one the lighter color and this one the middle one. What ended up happening is I painted the middle color, the darker of the two colors on the walls that had the most light, and the lighter color on the walls that had the least light. So when I was done, I had like the same color on all four walls. So like, I was like, okay, well, we got to look at that in the light that gets created in. You've subscribed. I have to leave now. Good job. Keep going, doing your thing, brother. Love your energy. How you engage with us. Yeah, man. Well, I don't want to sit here and just talk and not, all my viewers are really good about behaving. We can have off-color conversations and stuff like that, but I'm not here babysitting 7-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? So you all know how to behave. If you have a job, you know what to do. I give away all my secrets. I don't want to, keep this stuff. I don't want to take this stuff to the grave. And there's people that are like that. They're like, man, I don't want to tell everybody what I'm doing because then people won't think I'm like a saint or something. I'm like, come on, man, it's just like a freaking trick. And besides, all of us have gotten free stuff, free ideas that we've gotten off the internet. It's like a way to give back. You don't have to do it the way I do it, but maybe there'll be something I do that you're like, man, I didn't think about that. Because there's some stuff that I've seen that I'm like, I would have never thought about that. I would have never thought about that. Sometimes you just got to think outside the box. Now, you don't have to, you can do whatever you want, but you'll come across some brick wall and man, I don't know what to do next. I'm afraid that, you get analysis paralysis. Oh yeah, we're gonna, well, I'm not good about putting pictures on here after the fact because I just don't see that they get very many views. I put all my stuff on Facebook. But then the people that I know locally, like the people that I know in real life that I game with, they don't ever look at my Facebook stuff, even though they're on Facebook. I'm like, hey, did you see my new cars? I'm like, no. I said, who the hell are you watching on Facebook then, man? Like, you guys are going to drive this shit. You guys are going to drive these cars and stuff. Yeah. I don't get paid enough to babysit adults, to say you need to be the interested party. If you're not interested, oh well, and I want people to get excited about it because that makes me want to like share it more. I'm doing this really for me so I can stay like on track. And if it benefits anybody else, that's awesome. Oh, and I started extra early today. I got up at like 4 and I'm like, I tried to go to bed for half. I'm like, screw this, I'm gonna start my day. I gotta go take my car in for an oil change. Because it's easier to do it today than other Saturdays coming up. I'm actually like 200 miles early, but this lazy dealership doesn't open until 8, which is good for you guys. It's good for me too. Get more painting done. The Toyota dealership used to open at 7. So I made an appointment one time and it took them forever. And when I don't make an appointment, I just get in there as soon as the place opens. I'm in and out in no time. I've even gone in and out. I'm wondering, do you guys actually do something or just like send me a bill, you know? Yeah, when I saw this thing, I'm like, I gotta get this. This is the Bimbo bomber, and that's how I like to come up with with names. You know, I look through there and I'm like, that would be a good such and such. You know, the Bentley, I'm like, that's Goldilocks. You know, if you have to think too much, well, like a couple of these, I had to use Chat GPT to give me ideas to name them, just to have something original. I mean, I could have come up with it, but I would have spent too much time thinking about it. I'm kind of afraid of, I was kind of afraid of designing a car that just is just too powerful. But they've put some thoughts into the in the point thing for sure. There's a couple things I don't like about the point value thing, but I've just dealt with it because I really don't. I don't want to change that in the rules. I think it seems pretty balanced, and it's a build slot issue. Really, it's not the cost. I think the cost of things is good. I think that just, you know, if you add a RAM to something, you're left with one weapon. You know, and there's, you know, maybe I want a performance car with two weapons and a RAM. No, you can't have it. I mean, you can do whatever you want, you know, but it's, I'd like to stay to the balancing thing. Just like this thing, this, by the way, is not one of the group of 27. This is a 35 pointer. I just can't get I can't get the turreted mortar. The turreted mortar or a turreted rockets is either 12 or 15 points. The core price of this vehicle is 15 as it is. You're already at 30. You can't get that at 27. That's okay. These guys need a tank. We'll call it a tank, an AFV, a larger vehicle, a big brother vehicle class. I don't know if the collector's still on here. One thing that I forgot to ask the collector is, you know, I don't understand people that go and they're scalpers. You know, you can't make any money off this shit. You know, you go in there and like, I'm gonna buy all the whatevers and try to sell them later. I'm like, my time's worth too much to do that. The only thing that I bought and resold is back when they had that game in the early 2000s called Pirates of the Spanish Main, and it was a collectible game. The rules were probably the worst rules I've ever seen written in my entire life. Now, there's probably worse rules out there. I just hadn't seen them. But the rules were trash. But the miniatures, so to speak, were really pretty cool. And I didn't mean to sell, but you know, I only wanted one of each vehicle, one of each ship. And the extras, I'm like, what am I going to do with them? I'll sell them on eBay. And there was a big demand for that game and not enough production. So um, I basically got my entire set for free and made a couple $100. Now, it was a lot of work, you know, but it was fun work. But it ended up being for naught because I've probably played that game 6 times, maybe. Definitely a game that you could probably use with other rules, but the rules it came with were just absolute major loopholes. It's a sailing ship game, and there's no rules for wind at all. So like that doesn't work. That doesn't work for me. Let's put it that way. Okay, and let's not forget the little mortar, the business end of this. So the mortar fires indirect, so if there's an intervening wall or something like that, the game allows you to just ignore it and still have line of sight. But this game has these heavy weapons have very limited ammunition, like 3 shots. So like if you don't roll well, like all your shots are gone. But hey, it's a fun game. Most cars in a death race get eliminated before they even get to fire a shot to begin with. We had 7 cars in the race last time, and only 2 of the 7 made it through the first gate. What's up, Ben? So I noticed that there was a couple of drops of new 3D bot maker videos, so we'll be watching those while we're waiting on our oil change. You send me several of those Phil Henry videos. And here's the funny thing is that I think he's more entertaining to listen to when I'm not looking at him. But I mean, the guy is like, that's a talent. Well, he's made it. I'm sure he's made a living doing that. That's a talent, being able to switch from one thing to the other. I'm a little disappointed that the 3D bot maker apparently he's not doing it all live. I mean, I'm sure he's sampling things and adding the tracks or something like that. But I was really hoping there was actually an actual 2D person. But just another post-COVID disappointment for me. I mean, I could do that. Make a made up Mitch and have a conversation with myself. You and your blow up Mitch. Oil change, is that a euphemism for going to the toilet? No. Oil change like a PM, a preventative maintenance on the car. No, I'm going to the toilet? No. There's other euphemisms for that. No, I'm not spending 12 minutes on the toilet. That's how long his videos are. I'm not doing that. That's not exactly the best seat in the house, you know what I mean? I'd change my own oil, but where are you going to dump that stuff? And I need a lift. I mean, I can get underneath my car, but you're like, you've got like, got to take my contacts out. Actually, last time I was under my car, I had the super readers on. Removing all those little grommets, all those little plastic grommets to hold all the stuff on. And it's like freaking 2 inches from your face. Of course, when you get under your car like that, I don't think it's really dangerous because it's not jacked up at all. So it's like it can't really fall off anything. I mean, unless all the tires just exploded and it deflated immediately, you'd still, then your face would get squashed. But okay, this is about done with that. Let's take this up one more level. And then I think it's where it needs to be. So we're going to add this sunset red, German orange. I would never thought they had German orange to it. And some white. Quite white. Not quite white. What did I call it the other day? Come up with my own paint colors. Not quite white. Be like an ivory. not quite white. And what was the other one? Damn near black. Damn near black and not quite white. And then we could have alternative colors like ever so slightly red. That would be some kind of shade of pink. All right, I got to make a pickup truck that dumps rutabagas. It's in the mix. I already know what car I'm going to do. I just don't know what the hell a rutabaga looks like. Turnip, exploding rutabagas. I know what vehicle. I got an old redneck truck. I'll make Mitch a redneck. He'll love that. I'm not being facetious, you know. He's got chickens and shit like that. There we go. There we go. Yeah, baby. And also while I'm waiting, I need to look at rules for war rigs. At some point, I need to build one. And I have no idea what I need to do. I would like to build a ramp this weekend. Probably made out of junk cars. Probably made out of, obviously the ramp itself is not a junk car, but held up by junk cars. I tell you what, though, I've got like I put them together on my head. I was like, man, I got a whole lot of these urban warrior guys. How many do I have? And I have 8 legitimate ones and a couple of guys that could come in as allies. And I had no idea that I had that many of them. Although they've been I've had the most fun painting those than anything else. We call them boombox carnage. Let's get to the front. I may need to go up one level more. I think I will. I think I'm just going to add a little bit of blanquito here. But that's the thing. That's one of the reasons that I like this Gaslands stuff so much is that it's a game that provides really funny narrative. It's relatively quick to play. All kinds of crazy shit happen, whether you want to or not. And I can work on a pink vehicle, and then turn around and work on something that's not that way. So you could, it's not like, oh, here's another armor dark yellow vehicle. I'm not knocking World War II tanks. I'm just saying it's a nice change. And I can't take my World War II stuff and play something lighthearted like this. It's sacrilege. This can be lighthearted. We can play it like, we probably need to change this. This probably doesn't seem right or something like that. I don't know if I'm going to dig the rules of the Rams the way that not the Rams, with the ramps the way they are. We'll just have to play it the way it is and see how it plays out. It might be all right. It might be all right. And we haven't even done anything that's not Death Race. So there's other ways to play that we haven't explored yet. Start jumping around too much, and then you can't figure out what works and what doesn't. I lied. I'm going to go up a little bit more. So this little vehicle, that's the little toilet thing, would you call it deli belly? They make several of them. Like, for instance, whenever the year that I got this, which had been probably about 2017, 2018, something like that. The year that I ended up getting this vehicle, they made one model, and they might have made, a different paint scheme the year before, but they actually make one that actually has number 2 written on it. That'd be perfect. Like a number 2 that drops, turds. They actually make one that has a number 1 as well. I thought about, man, I get number 1 and a number 2. Thing 1 and thing 2. One drops pee on you. One drops an oil slick. The other one drops a glue. It's all about laughing at stuff. I think I'm actually going to go up a little bit more too. Yeah. Of all the things that take a long time, this is one of the ones I enjoy the most. And the end result will be worth it. Now the beauty of this is I should just be able to, as soon as I'm done with this, where it's to the point where I like it, I should just be able to roll into the black lining. And that's when you're really going to see the difference. Yeah, this is looking superb. At least do the license plate. Deli belly. Is it big enough for a license plate? I've done one license plate so far. Does it have one? No. No, but I could see getting another one of those and calling it deli belly, because I'm pretty sure that my tractor trailer is going to be. I bet I'm gonna make an Indian tractor trailer. I need to have a redneck tractor trailer too. I need to have an Indian tractor trailer. Even though, like I said, I don't think I've ever seen an Indian truck driver. Not at work. It's usually Eastern Europeans or standard American fare, rednecks, Eastern Europeans. We'll call them Russians for short. I'm not Russian, whatever. Slavic. I don't know. I've seen pictures of war rigs and Gaslands, and they don't excite me the way they look. They look a little too like some dreadnought or something like from 40K. You just look a little like too over the top. But I don't know. I'd like to do my take on it. I don't like doing things that look like a rust bucket because, like, how's a rust bucket gonna like get through the race and not fall apart? You know. So I mean, it's okay to have rust and stuff on it, but it can't be, primer. What color is it? Oh, it's primer rust. Like that's just not the. That's not what I want to portray. No, a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. And it's not going to be the same color, but it needs to be like, they at least made an attempt. I actually like the fact that it's not an exact color, so the details do stand out more. But it needs to make it look like they made some kind of an attempt. This is the closest color I could come up with. Sherman Williams ain't got shit. This is all I could do. All right, darling. Some shit like that. Do the same thing here. But on my travels today, I do need to get the black and the. We're getting really low on those colors. Getting really low on those colors. All right. Let's start with that. Let's go over to this end of the world. Dark tone. Yeah, so Indian food over there in Britain is like Mexican food here. That has a reputation of, having a blowout after you eat it, huh? I've never experienced that with any kind of food consistently. I'd probably not eat that kind of food. Like I'm just throw something out there. If I always ate Greek food and it made me like give me diarrhea, I'd stop eating Greek food. Like it's not worth it, you know. Although there's probably somebody out there that enjoys getting diarrhea. Weirdo. You know there is. I don't make this stuff up. I did consider painting these guys like Borderlands. So I realized that Borderlands has black lines in places that light lines should be in, and that's really going to throw away. That's really going to throw my psyche out. Saw a couple of people that painted them like a couple of people painted their vehicles like Borderlands, and Didn't have the look I thought it was going to have. Tiny Tina's, Death Ride or something. Kind of weapons from the game. Like, it's got a turreted badonkadonk or whatever she was. I was playing that the other game, and it's like, man, the narrative of that game is just not the narrative. The script, freaking hilarious. I was playing the other day, and it's like, look out for so and so. She's got a really bad attitude. She's Welsh or something like that. I'm like, what? Like this big bug had nothing to do with Wales at all. Like, these people aren't crack. Yeah, see, already looks pretty cool. Already looks pretty cool. Oh, we got lots of time. If I don't get this thing done before I get to go, I'm going to be damn close. Like, how weird is it that Hot Wheels and Matchbox are owned by the same company? Like Pepsi and Coke owned by the same company. Probably going to happen one day, too. I get bored if I stay over in one place too long, so I like to hop around. I do need to get more to drink, though. I feel dehydrated. I'll be right back. How do you? Oh, we're on the phone. All right, let's mute this just a second. Be right back. Yeah, I got probably, if I had to guess, 12 or 15 more urban vehicles to do. 15 might be a little high. I got a Buick Regal. I got an old little pickup truck that's got boom things on it. I don't know if it'll have a boom weapon. This thing, this tow truck with all the bling. The Bling Brothers Circus. Look at this thing. This is, I guess, a pickup truck, but it's got 97-inch rims. It's got a little boom box on the back. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. A lot of cool stuff out there. And the whole idea is to make them different. Some of them invariably are going to be similar. I haven't really gotten to that point yet. Letting people randomly play a car has worked really well, really, really well. Nobody's told me they really dislike a car. That's good. You just might be in a situation, it's optimized for a certain situation, and you just don't get in that certain situation. Now, the funny thing is, a couple of them did happen. And you ended up getting something like Pimp Python was in the lead, and people wanted to ram it, and it's got a rear ram. So that came in handy. Poppycock got shot out a lot. So its ability of being able to only be able to take 2 points of damage max in each attack came in handy. Okay, let that little guy dry. Did any of you guys go up and buy Hot Wheels just because I'm doing this? Sorry for being an enabler. It's fun as hell just going looking at the cars, even if you don't buy any. And when you open them up, a lot of these have really interesting details on the inside that nobody would ever see. Nobody would ever see that stuff. And just about all the vehicles are pretty cool, except for the ones that are really oversized. Like they'll have like some kind of scooter, that's like, if all these cars are like about 1/64th, the scooter would be like 1/24th scale. Now, the scooter itself is the same thing, or like a skateboard. I'm like, that shit's useless. I don't see any point in that. Those have got to be the least popular vehicles, I would think. Something like a Vespa, but it's like really, really big. I mean, even as a kid, I wouldn't have bought it. I'm like, You know, it's like this car is this size, this car is this size, this car is this size. Why is this freaking skateboard that big? You know? You had to get ready for the day. Your brother and I are going to. I gotta get closer. Sorry. My brother and I are going up to Austin to check out their hobby stores for your 37th birthday. Well, happy birthday, man. Austin have any hobby stores left? And there's hardly any hobby stores left in Florida. They're basically, it's safe to say that there aren't any. There are some, but, you know, that's why getting into this is exciting, because I can go to stores and they could have some merchandise I'm interested in. Even if the merchandise just happens to be toy cars. Just imagine if Toys R Us was still around. But you know, when you've bought all the cars that you want from a given year, you got to look at older ones. That's a fun thing to do on your birthday. That's the kind of shit I'd like to do, you know? How long of a drive is it? A couple hours? Austin has a lot of good stores. Seems like all the big cities here are getting lots of hobby stores. Really? Huh. I went into one in Miami. This guy had a fucking attitude. Typical Miamian. And he's like, "Oh, I don't sell to the public." I'm like, "Why are you fucking open then?" Like, it was weird. Maybe it was a front for. That's probably what it was. It was a front for something else. Now I was an older guy, but there's a guy on Google reviews. I'm like, "Oh, that place has pretty good reviews." Walk in there, and like, "Oh, we don't sell to the public." Like, or one of these places like this gun store. I went in one time. Went in this gun store with Mitch, and you walk into the place, and you're like, "Where's all your inventory?" "Oh, I got 10,000 things, but they're all online." I'm like, "All right, well, I got 10,000 things at home, but I don't have them with me." You know, like, it's like an hour and 30 to get there from San Antonio. Now, which was a city that I was surprised that had so much population in Texas? Is it San Antonio? San Antonio is like one of the big, I think it's San Antonio, not Houston. Houston is obvious that Houston's big, but I was like surprised that like San Antonio or something like that was like huge. I think it was San Antonio. Which is the one that has the river, that has all the stores by the river. I haven't been to it, so is it San Antonio or is it Austin? Only town I've been to in Texas really to speak of is Houston. I've been there twice or thrice. I don't know. One, I flew through and went to some bar on a roof. It was pretty cool. And thrice, I went once for a convention for work. Didn't really see anything. And then once for a job that we did out there. Yeah, I think San Antonio's top 10. Yeah, that surprised me. Like, I expected Houston to be, I mean, I know Houston's bigger than San Antonio, but I guess it's not that much bigger. We're also the fattest city, too. San Antonio has the Riverwalk, but I would stay away from that. It's really gone downhill since COVID. Well, so has everything. Has anything gotten better since COVID? Paying more for shit. That's gotten better. Oh wait, that's not a good thing. Um, yeah, so that's like San Antonio being that big. Like it surprised me. I mean, I knew San Antonio wasn't a big city, but it was like it wasn't a small city. But I figured San Antonio would be like I don't know, Indianapolis or something like that. Because San Antonio is round, right? It expands like in every direction, kind of like Indianapolis. Some cities only go one way. Sometimes because on our coast, we can't go that way. We got to go this way. Man, there's some major traffic problems there, I bet. Man, the traffic in Miami and surrounding areas, I don't know how anybody could live down there. You'd have to have a therapist with you at all times. Everything in Texas is growing. It's getting a little out of hand, hence why I've been looking for a job, either remote or out of state. Man, I'd love to work remote one day. See what that's like. I guess it works for some people and it doesn't for others. Some people will be like, nobody's watching me. I'm just gonna fuck around all day. It is looking pretty good, although it looks a bit like a food truck. And see, if Barbie had a food truck, what kind of food would they serve? Lipstick. Um, Cupcakes, right? Yeah, you have to be self motivated. The problem with remote work I can see is like basically you could potentially always be on, right? Like I leave my work at work. I leave my work at work, but my wife works remote, so I think it's good to have one person in the household working remote. You got some flexibility to do stuff. Like something happens in your house, like a plumber, you need a plumber, somebody's here all the time to let the plumber in kind of thing. Like I got my windows tinted on my cars 4 years ago or so. And it's got a lifetime warranty and it's starting to come up a little bit on the back. You guys probably say, "What'd you clean your back window with?" I've never cleaned my back window inside my car. I don't think I ever have. First of all, it's a pain in the ass to get back there, and second of all, when would that ever get dirty? I mean, sure, it got dusty and stuff, but I clean outside of the car, every week, at least. At least, no, every week. I don't do it more often than that. But the inside, like rare. But I called the guy up this week. I said, "Hey, when can I bring it by?" And I got it done on a Saturday. He's like, "Oh, we don't work Saturdays, so just give me a week's notice and I'll bring it in." So I've either got to do some long ass switcheroo or take a day off to go do that. The wife can't take it because it's a stick shift, and there's the end of that discussion. So luckily, it's not pressing. It's not like it's just bubbling in a couple places. It's not like it's It's hardly noticeable, but and I'm sure that a lot of people that work remote fuck around. And that's why everybody was having a moo cow where it's like, everybody got to work from, not everybody. I never did. I didn't miss a single day of work because of anything COVID related. And these other people like working from home and stuff. All right, I want everybody to come back in the office, and they had a moo cow over it. Well, they had a moo cow over it because people are fucking around. If I got to work from home, like the very first thing I do is like, man, I need to kick so much ass. They're not going to want me back in the office. But if you screw around, you just open yourself up to that being thrown on you. And I don't have a long commute. But man, I'd sure like to be working whatever temperature I see fit and wear whatever the hell I want. I mean, I'm not going to run around naked, but all right, we're getting there. Just a couple other spots on this side. This side's done. Kick so much ass, they won't want you back in the office. All right, let's move to the front. Yeah, sometimes these vehicles have like little decals for like the headlights. I'll leave those on if they look decent like this one. Oh, it does have a bumper sticker. What's it say? BRBC mile per hour. Oh no, Barbie camper. BRBCMPR. Yeah, we'll leave that alone. I wouldn't have seen it if I didn't have the contacts out. I don't know how hobby store we're going to, but I know I'm going to be eating some damn good food. shit, I can't look at hobby stores now. I'm on my phone. Hobby stores in Austin. You got some places picked out already? Well, now my favorite place to go is these. I don't want to say collectible because I don't want to buy, $15 Hot Wheels. Although I am considering buying one that's probably going to be the most expensive one I buy, and I want to get that. I want to get that cop car from Live and Let Die, J.W. Pepper. J.W. Pepper's cop car, and that thing's been out for a while, and I thought about getting it, but it's like 15 freaking dollars. And all it is just some metallic green, but I wouldn't collect it. Like, we're gonna blackline it and weather it and stuff like that. You in some kind of hurry, boy? There's no good food in San Antonio? But there's a lot of Mexican food in San Antonio. Just a guess. I just throw that out there. There's this one Mexican restaurant that we had in town that was superb. And nothing fancy, not a hole in the wall either. It was kind of a hole in the wall. And then they moved, and the restaurant's really, really pretty. They have like a courtyard looking on the inside, and their salsa was good. And you had this one dish that I wouldn't dare eat anything else because it was so damn good. You'd forego eating this dish. Something that's so damn good that if you have something else, you don't know if it's going to be good, and you didn't, and you don't get to have this other thing. And then all of a sudden, one day, it didn't taste like anything. It was like almost like it was a chicken and it wasn't marinated enough. And I just figured it was kind of off. And then it happened again, and I'm like, there's no point in going back to eat food that is not healthy for you, that has no taste. You know? Brother's wife's really into Pokemon cards, so you might be looking at some of those places as well. Oh, Toy Dojo? That's a good name for a place. Toy Dojo. That's a good name. You don't have to like bow or anything. Bow to the sensei at the cash register. I hear humans. Toy Dojo. Gotta take your shoes off when you come in the store. There's this one place in San Antonio called Frank's Bollos Asados. If you're ever here, it's a must eat. I eat so much there when I almost get sick. There's this place that's called Los Pollos something or another here. I don't know what it is. And they don't give you enough food. It's good, but they don't give you enough food. And at one of the locations, is it's actually this one. It's this in this one location that has been so many different restaurants, and I guess they're doing okay because they've been there a while. But they have like this churrasco thing that's excellent. So you go to a chicken place to eat meat, to eat red meat. Yeah, well, they had a special one day. I tried it and it was really good. I like a good churrasco. The Toy Dojo. I have to look that up. Yeah, that one store I sent you the pictures of, it's really well organized. Like it's not chaotic in there at all. Like they have, like you go in there and there's like a sense of peace. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there, but like it's all organized in a logical way. You don't go in there and go, oh fuck, where do I start? Great beef fajitas. What about Filipino food? You still got the Filipino girlfriend? Went in a Filipino restaurant in this little town, and it was all right. I just didn't know what the hell to order. I'm like, it was like when I went to the Indian place. Like, I don't know I know what things look like that I like, but I'm like, I don't know what the hell it's called. It's like a foreign language or whatever. Well, these have all these little like netting or something like that. Not netting. What are they called? Wattle. Yeah, wattle on the top. So, still cook Filipino food. You have to find a good Filipino place here. Well, now you don't have to go to the Philippines anymore. Yeah, you might still want to go. You find another Filipino girlfriend. You find another girlfriend from another country or whichever country you want to travel. It's like, I want to go to Costa Rica. Go find a Costa Rica girlfriend. Do people do searches for that? Now here's the thing that surprised me because I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this. I don't ever feel like I'm too old for anything, but I'm past that point. This whole dating website thing, it really surprises me that, as somebody who's like, thinks about this logically, like there's a perfect example. Like if you were in I'm not giving you any suggestions, but I'm just saying, if you wanted some kind of dating website and you wanted to look for people that, you could like put all your hobbies out there and like, there's no harm, no foul. Like, okay, I'm into Godzilla stuff and I like Mexican food, I like to cook or I like to write or whatever. And then you could just be honest. And then if somebody turned you down, you wouldn't know. Like just nobody would be interested in you, or whatever. That doesn't sound very good. But I'm just saying you could just be yourself. But apparently what I hear is that people actually make themselves sound better than they are, which to me defeats the whole purpose of having some kind of environment where you can just find somebody who really is kind of interested in what you already are instead of pretending to be somebody else. And then it just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I've never done one of those things because they didn't come around at the right time. They came too late, kind of thing. Yeah, no more Philippines for me. I'll miss the food, but I hate the 26-hour travel time. Yeah, that's pretty far. And you get there as an earthquake. Hey, there's enough different places in this country that I've never been to. Doesn't mean I don't want to travel to other countries, but what sucks about this country is the history. I don't give a shit about American history. It sucks. And you go to Europe and it's like amazing. That part is amazing. Um, and there's lots of beauty here, but it's not historical as far as or it's not any history I'm interested in. Like I remember when I went to Gettysburg with Mitch. He's like, "What'd you like?" And I said, I'd never bring my wife here. Never. Never. She'd be like going to someplace. Now, this weekend, it just so happens that, remember that tank show that I went to in like April? I did all the filming and stuff. The same people are doing one in Zephyr Hills, which is about an hour and a half south of here. It's almost to Tampa. And I was thinking back in April I'd go down there and do it, but I'm like, I'm not going for that. It doesn't really work. My daughter's up. She might enjoy doing it, but she literally like drove right by the place to go to it. That might have been something that I would have gone to, but it's going to be the same vehicles, the same ridiculous combat reenactment. Never experienced an earthquake yet, but that volcano Tal was spewing stuff one time. It was about half a mile from it, and I could see it from my window. Yeah, I don't want that. And volcanoes were one of those things that I was fascinated by as a kid, but I don't want to live anywhere near one. That's just creepy as hell. Tall. Never heard of it. But then I don't know a single mountain in the Philippines. Yeah, that's the thing about volcanoes. They come with free earthquakes. No additional charge. Okay, so this side's looking pretty fleshed out. Might need to touch up a thing here or there. Not looking too bad. Not looking too bad. It's got lots of nooks and crannies in here. You need to make those things pop so you can see them at a distance. It's funny, my watch stopped working about a month ago. Like all of my watches stopped working. I changed the batteries. And I think what happened is I ended up Amazoning batteries, and I got batteries that were old with a lot of shelf life. Next weekend is a big historical con in North Austin, but probably skipped this year. They usually hold it on your birthday weekend, which is also Veterans Day weekend, which usually is a 3-day weekend. Yeah, the con in September, they moved it to August next year. And I'll tell you what, if I still went to Historicon, I'd be really pissed because that basically puts them in two back-to-back months. And they said they moved it because of, I just found out about it this week. They moved it because there's too many things in September. There's always the third weekend in September. Now they moved it to the third week in August. I don't know if I'm going to go to them anymore, though. It's a lot of trouble to take time off for one day. And is it really worth it? I mean, I'm not going to run Gaslands there. I'm not going to run a game at it, Yeah, it's gonna look grand. It takes some TLC, This this wash is a little thin at times, which is okay because it just means you have to go, you look at it like, it's not dark enough. Let me go over the areas again. Any of the enamel ones don't work any better. And then you have to deal with enamel. So I see no point in switching from using this wash. It's easy on the brushes. Just takes a while. It's actually pretty relaxing. Yeah, I went to the convention last time and I'm like, I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that. I don't want to play with that guy. I don't want to play with that guy. Those are the exception. But there are a couple people I'm never playing a game with before. They're just miserable. I get paid to be miserable. I don't want to do it for free. I don't want to do it for free. Yeah, there's literally 2 people I'm never playing a game with again. I'll tell them to their fucking face. I said, I can't play this. You're here. I don't give a shit. I'm getting old and crotchety. Those people are older than me anyways. They should understand. They probably say, I probably wouldn't want to play a game with me either. It looks like a grate, or it looks like what they call waddling. When you've got like a garden and they have like the fence that you can see through but you can't. That's what it looks like. It's just that's how we're gonna. I'm just shading it. Probably be quicker just do a whole wash over the whole damn thing, and I may end up doing that. Maybe I'll do that in one of the brown wash colors, and this looks like it's a bed. Looks like it's look like a sleeping bag with a little pillow. Well, that's going to be some kind of ornament on the roof because the mortar is going to go right there. And I'm not going to glue the mortar down. We're going to put a piece of stickum. I like the idea of being able to turn this the way that I want it to be facing. Just going to be something like that. Just a little boom bar on the roof. I don't know who to work on next. As much as I want to tear open more cars, I need to finish the stuff that's here. I do need to focus on ones that don't involve Rams because I'm all out of Rams. I'm all out of Rams. The Chevelle's probably going to be next. Or what did we decide? Was a Chevelle or a Nova? Whichever one it is probably the next one. It's not going to have a Ram on it. Yeah, the little pink Simpsons car, I'm probably going to make that one stinky pinky. Probably needs gas grenades and an oil slick gas grenades, and it's something else. That's the first car I used in a race, unmodified, and I won that race. Just luck of the Irish. Well, I try to drive well. Like, it's embarrassing to drive like an idiot. Like, if you get destroyed by somebody else from gunfire, hey, listen, shit happens. But if you drive like an idiot, well, that's on you. You start picking the wrong things, that's on you. Lattice. Yeah, lattice sounds like lace. It's wooden lace. Lattice. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I don't know. Maybe I never had a Barbie dream camper, so maybe I suspect it's probably the same on the original dream camper. And the only reason I'm saying it is this particular vehicle had no windows on it. It was just open space and an open roof. because that's where you would stick the dolls in, right? On the, on the big one. So I just suspect it's just a shrunken down camper, you know. Yeah. It's, I mean, once you add the weathering makes a big difference, and the rust after the weathering makes a big difference. After you add those two things, I think I'm going to be pretty happy with this thing. Pretty happy with this Joker. I probably got another 15 minutes, and I got to go get ready. To go hang out with the other hippies at the Subaru dealership. All the other old hippies. Austin is like Texas's hippie town, isn't it? It's weird they have the bed on. Doesn't seem that safe. Yeah, it sure looks like that's what it is, like a sleeping bag or something. Like I said, these things have a lot of detail on them. Whether you choose to look at it or not, they really do. I mean, this nerd vehicle, I'm calling it a nerd vehicle. It's called the Jester, all right? And it had some kind of like windscreen over the compartment that it's in. I don't know if I'm going to put that back because it literally covers the whole thing. But if you look in here, one of the things that was really neat about it is that there's an RC car in the back. And not only is there an RC car in the back, but there's a toolbox there. And you see that thing that's laying on its side? That's one of those RC remotes, because it's basically, it has a trigger and then it has the knob here that does the steering. Like, they added all that stuff on there, and you're like, that's really pretty cool. So this is going to be a vehicle that drops RC cars, because that's one of the weapons, is a remote control car bombs or something like that. You can drop them, and you drive around vehicles, and they shoot the equivalent of pistols out. They each have like a pistol each. It's just something different. Is it going to be a super powerful vehicle? Probably not, but it's different, but they have a little RC car. So along with the RC cars is someone gave me a whole set of Micro Machine knockoffs cars, and there's a couple of them that look like those RC cars that would, not this style, but the ones that are like the off-road buggy looking ones. And I'm probably going to paint those up, and that's going to be its children or whatever. So it's something different, but this is probably going to be the Nerd Burglar team. Or at this, I got a van I picked up the other day that I got the Marvel car. I got that thing. I got a van I picked up the other day that has science written on it. Like, nerds love science. That's I know I'm not a nerd. I'm not into science. I don't hate science. I like earth science. That's how you know you're not a nerd. Where's the science fan? This thing. Mitch is gonna love this thing. Mitch likes zombie shit. Yeah, this guy, he puts them in little plastic baggies, which is good because that way they don't bang into each other. That's the car that's gonna have the hot start. I love looking at this stuff, man. There's some cool stuff here. Who's a science fan? Here we go. Oh, stop it. Austin used to be hippie town, but now it's the tech bro and homeless wannabe hippie town. Oh boy. So they made it even better. Got it. This thing. I could probably make something pretty interesting out of it. I don't think there's going to be much inside it. What is this thing called? Cool one. Now the rim color's got to go. That doesn't work with anything, okay? But I saw this and I'm like, yeah, we're going to keep this science thing on there, you know? Test tube troubler, you know? Test tube terrorist. This is the zombie. This is the zombie man that I saw this. I'm like, Mitch is going to be all over this fucker. Dawn of the Road Zombies. Rest in peace, Wilmot Harold, Waniak, Jerry, Carrie McSomething or another. And it actually has an engine that pops open. The COVID car. No, we can't use that C word. It's nice graphics. It's nice graphics. Oh, it's another dragster. How can you tell? It's got the little pouch back there. Now, it's not going to be a dragster in this game. And then this car is the one that's going to have a hot start. I should probably move this one towards the front of the queue. I saw this and I'm like, yep, this is a hot start. Now, hot start, basically you roll to see what gear you start in. So it could start in like 5th gear. As long as the car itself can go into 5th gear, it can start in gears. This is going to be a buggy. I mean, this thing will look great. All this bloody chrome. What's this thing called? Fiat 500. It doesn't look like a Fiat to me. It doesn't really matter what it is, but yep. It's got the little dragster thing. The dragster's a problem. The ones that are dragsters, they're worth hardly any points. So it's almost like you get 2 cars instead of one. You know, if you pull one of the dragsters, you get the other dragster for free kind of thing. I'll build them eventually, but they look like they got some serious handicaps. Because they have basically an unlimited nitro, and they have to hit it every turn. So I don't know how the hell you're going to get around the first turn. You're going to end up being a lawn dart in the wall. I don't know how I'm going to take apart the Marvel car, because the Marvel car is metal top, metal bottom. So I'm going to have to go in through the rivets. My wife told me that she said nerd burglar to somebody that she knows had never heard it before, and she busted out laughing. Hey, it's a catchy tune. And some guy has that as a YouTube channel. It's like, freaking stole it from me. The virus van. Yeah, the COVID car, the virus van, because it is a van. Viral van. The violently virus van. Violent virus van. definitely going to have some gas grenades coming out of that thing. This whole getting light this early is really weird. It feels like you're late for everything. No, I made an appointment to get my oil change one time, and then it took longer than if I just walked in. You know, the main thing is just like being like, okay, I'm not being in a hurry and just showing up when they open. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop here. I'm not going to be able to get this thing finished. It's all right. It's not like I was going to use it later today or something. But this is where we'll pick up next time. And I'm glad I added this little ventilator thing. It looks like an RV looking thing there on the side. Didn't have that. Just adds some little eye candy for you to look at. All right, folks, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.